Hey team, Richard Tubb. We are here at Uptime Live, a new event for the managed service providers in the UK and in Europe. And we've got not only some of the most progressive managed service providers in the world here today, but some of the most progressive vendors who are providing services and solutions for managed service providers. And I'm joined today by one of them, Marc from Enclave. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Richard. Nice to be here.
What brings you to Uptime Live?
So this was a new event for us, and we thought it was something worth exploring. As we understand it, it's part of a new type of event. We've come along today, and we think it's a really interesting opportunity to talk to the industry about private access and zero trust networking.
Yeah.
And hopefully to learn a little bit more about some of the MSP and customer challenges in the space as well.
Yeah, so Enclave, I've had you on my podcast before, Tubblog podcast for MSPs. I encourage listeners to go and check out this episode if you want an expanded version of the question I'm about to ask. But what is Enclave? What do you do for MSPs?
So we do two things, really. First is simplicity, and the second is security.
Okay.
So we've been in an era for the last 20 years or so where building private access has been, quite difficult. It's been very, very hard to arrange private connectivity using the traditional VPN tooling that we've had in place. A lot of that tooling is engineered expecting operators to come down to its level. Enclave is a tool that allows technology to come up to the operator. So it's a time-saving tool. And in terms of security, it's a step up from VPNs as well.
Yeah.
VPNs are horrifically insecure, exposed to the public internet. And there's a new breed of technologies available called Zero Trust Network Access that close that open door into customer networks to make things more secure.
Yeah.
Enclave is the intersection between security and simplicity for private access and private connectivity.
So what are your thoughts? There's going to be a lot of MSPs watching this who are using traditional VPNs, and they are a pain in the backside to manage. They can sometimes be insecure. What's your view? What would you say to those MSPs who are still using more traditional solutions compared to yours or another solution like Enclave?
So I think it's difficult because sometimes we're attached to the devil we know.
Yeah.
I think it was 2021 in the US, the Eastern Seaboard Colonial Pipeline was hacked.
Yes, I remember
through
it.
a VPN intrusion.
Yeah.
And really the pointy end of Zero Trust is spearheaded by the US government, mandating federal agencies to adopt Zero Trust as a principle.
Yeah.
And I think it can be quite difficult to unpick what that means for the rest of us who aren't federal agencies or at the enterprise tier. But there's a lot of guidance, and there's a particularly good piece of guidance from a US organization called CISA,
Yes.
which has published a maturity model around Zero Trust and Zero Trust Network Access. And it's a really nice way for MSPs to help frame the conversation with their customers to help them understand what an increased maturity posture looks like when it comes to private access, to help the customer effectively do more with less and be more secure in the process.
Yeah, and I've seen the Enclave product, the solution, incredibly easy to set up, use, manage. Former MSP and myself, I'm like, yeah, I would kick VPNs out in favor of this any day of the week. But what would you say for anybody who's watching this, perhaps not at Uptime Live, first introduction to this concept that VPN is a lower technology and there are more mature technology? What's the next step that they should take?
Well, I don't think this is the first step. The first step, usually, if you want to start modernizing your security stack, is to start with single sign-on.
Got it.
And ITP, and everything can flow from that single source of truth. So private access probably isn't the first rung on the ladder, but it is certainly something to think about. But it is definitely an amount of getting your ducks in a row to do before you worry about Zero Trust as a bigger concept.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like this gentleman here who's come in and wants to find more out about Enclave, so anybody watching, where can they go and find out more about Enclave online?
There's our podcast,
of course.
That's definitely worth listening to. But our website is enclave.io.
And I've been calling you Enclave all the way through it because I'm from England. Is Enclave a Welsh thing or am I just out of touch?
No, I think we probably say it incorrectly, but honestly, we have customers in North America as well, so there's a lot of Enclave.
Enclave versus
and
Enclave.
And a lot of Enclave.
Yeah. Well, there you
It
go.
doesn't matter.
The debate goes on. Enclave versus Enclave. Whatever it is, this is a technology you need to check out. Mark, thank you for taking time today.
Likewise.
Cheers, man.
Thanks, Richard.